The goal of this lesson is to highlight some of the information that is literally at your fingertips as you code in the code window. Since writing code is the most important aspect of creating applications, you should be aware of all the ways that VisualStudio.net provides hints and clues to help you recall what you need to type next. And therefore, this is the first of several lessons that's focused on all the functionality provided to assist in helping you write code efficiently and correctly. In this lesson, we'll also provide some tips on navigating through the lines of code using only the keyboard. These keyboard tips will allow you to be more precise and to navigate to the exact location where you need to add or remove code. I personally use each of these shortcuts on a constant basis. Obviously, trying to explain keyboard shortcuts is a little problematic since you can't see my hands. Just imagine in your mind these keyboard strokes, and or perhaps open up Visual Studio yourself and follow along as I explain these. The first keyboard shortcut that's useful is the Control tab. You hold down the Control button and then select the Tab key, and when you do, you can traverse through all the open tabs in the main area. This is useful so you don't have to pick up your hands and go to the mouse each time that you want to navigate to a new tab. The next keyboard shortcut is the use of the right and left arrow keys in conjunction with the Control key. So what I'm going to do right now is hold down the Control key and then watch my cursor as I use the right arrow. It moves to the first position of every major word or statement or character within my line of code. So I'm able to jump very quickly back and forth this way, and this is a big time saver when I want to navigate. And again, I don't have to lift up my hand, move to the mouse, and click on something. Now, what I'm going to do next is actually will use the mouse to expand this web form designer generated code just so we can get some more code in the main area. And this is the use of the Control button in conjunction with the up and down arrows. When I do this, what happens is my position does not change. Notice that my cursor still stays on the line that says end sub, but what I'm able to do is move the viewing area of the code up and down accordingly. Now if I remove my hand from the Control button and just use the up and down arrows by themselves, I'll actually move to a different line of code. But again, now if I have my cursor on private sub, I can hold down the Control key and move up, but my cursor doesn't move. The next keyboard shortcut is using the Control key in conjunction with the Home and the End button that are up near the top of your keyboard. When I hold down the Control key and hit Home, I go to the very top of the file. When I use the Control key and hit End, I go to the very bottom of the file. Here, let me move the viewing area down so you can see this. And this is useful if you have a long section of code and you don't want to just hold down the up arrow and go all the way to the top, or hold down the down arrow and go all the way to the bottom. Much quicker way to do this. And I actually use the Home and End keys as well when I'm on a single line and I want to jump all the way to the end of the line. I click the End key, and when I click the Home key, it puts me back to the beginning of the line. And so I'm able to navigate very quickly using these techniques. And where that really comes in handy is when I use it in conjunction with the Shift button. So what I'm going to do is put my cursor here and navigate over, and I'm going to hold down the Shift key and hit End, and I've selected an entire line of code. And I'm going to click Home now to go all the way back. And finally, I can select lots of stuff by kind of using the same paradigm. When I hit Control and Shift at the same time, I can select entire words that can be cut, copied, and pasted into other sections of code, and unselect them by holding down again the Control, the Shift, and then using the arrows. And then finally, and I'm going to use the Home here, I'm going to select the Shift button and just use the down arrow in this case, or the up arrow in this case, and select entire lines of code. So you really do need to become familiar with all these keyboard shortcuts, and that's in addition to the other shortcuts that are typical to Windows, like using Alt and then F for File, or whatever you see at the top of the menu structure As you see right here, you can use Alt and F to open up a file or open up the menu, and then click Alt N for new, and then Alt P for project to open up like the project window, for example. But you'll notice whenever there's an underscore underneath a menu option, that means that you can use the Alt key to, like, say Alt V for view that you see at the top of the menu, and it opens the view menu. I'm going to hit the escape button now to remove the menu from appearing. And then there are the keyboard shortcuts that are common to every Windows application, like, for example, let me get down here to a line of code that I can get rid of. If I wanted to cut, copy, and paste this line into someplace else, I can hold down the Control key and hit X, and that deletes it. I'm going to move to a different area, and then hit Control V to paste it. If I didn't want to cut it, I could just do Control C and copy it, and then put that there again by hitting Control V to paste it in. Now, you can do these shortcuts, or you can go and use the Edit window to cut, copy, and paste. But the Control X, Control C, and Control V are a much more convenient way to do this. Now, the other thing that you can do is hit Control Z to undo. So say, for example, I wanted to undo that paste. I can hit Control Z. Whoops. I can hit Control Z, and it gets rid of it. Hit Control Z again, and it continues to undo everything that I did. And so we can access that again by going Edit, Undo, or use the Undo button from here. Now, to redo it, I can hit Control Y, and you'll notice that again it will cut. It will use the Enter key. It will repaste in. It'll re-put a space in there. It'll repaste another word in there. So you can use Control Z and Control Y to kind of move back and forth through time. Think of it as your own personal time machine. And as we've been cutting and copying and pasting things into place, I wanted to show you a nifty little trick in the toolbox. Merely put your cursor over the toolbox and then select the clipboard ring tab, and you'll notice here that every time that we hit Control Copy or Control Cut, it makes a copy of that in the clipboard. So I can take this comment, for example, and copy it here, and when it leaves, I can paste it right back into its original spot. So if you had some code that you had copied and you want to use it multiple times, by default, it'll just put all of the cut or the copy operations in this clipboard ring. Now, what you can also do is cycle through them all with just a keyboard shortcut. So right here I have selected some text, and I can hit Control and Shift and the letter V, and I can cycle through all the things that were copied to the clipboard ring. And if we had 20 different things, we could go through them all and select the appropriate one, and then it would be permanently pasted into our section of code. Alternately, if I really did want to use the mouse, I could do the same thing by going to Edit and cycle clipboard ring, but that's not a very efficient way to do it. If I were you, I would either use the keyboard shortcut, the Control, Shift, and the V, or just simply go to the toolbox and drag and drop what you want into place. And so we'll put this comment here at the end, here. So if you missed any of these keyboard shortcuts, don't worry. If you look on the page for this video lesson, there is a summary of all the keyboard shortcuts that were displayed here and what their purpose is. So we hope you enjoyed this video.